Hey, what's up, guys? I never know when I'm going to go live because it was like countdown was like 20, 12, 4. And I'm like, oh, welcome back to my channel, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with me. Tonight, I am doing a fan interview with the Miss Lovely Z. Honey, she popped on my screen and backstage, and I was like, Lord, she is in somewhere in Hollywood. I was like, she looks fabulous. I was like, oh God, I have to sit next to her. You look so gorgeous. You look beautiful. You look amazing. I just told you, I was like, you look like you somewhere in Hollywood, honey.
you gotta dress like for what you want, right? So
Exactly. Well, you look amazing. Thank you so much for
yeah.
being here with me tonight, doing this interview with me. I know a lot of people have questions and had questions, and with all the groups and all the stuff that was going on a couple of weeks ago, but we're going to get into all that. But other than that, I just want to say that I appreciate you being on the show. I know I guess your time on the show ended so quickly and abruptly, and you really didn't get to experience like the entire thing. But I'm going to get into all that. So other than that, did you want to say anything in the beginning before we get started?
Just that it's great to meet you. I'm definitely happy to be here. You were definitely one of my favorites out of your season. I'm pretty good. I mean, I think I stopped watching after Potomac. I took a little break. I probably should have kept watching before my season, but I really appreciated what you had to offer. This classy, stoic, eccentric woman. So it's good to be here and actually meet you.
Thank you so Thank you so much. Because it makes me feel really, really good and really honored to hear you guys say that, because I've come a long way, and that journey for me it was a lot. And, and I just felt like I wanted to turn something that was like negative into something positive. So to hear you say that about me, I so appreciate it, because it was a lot for me to go through and show up for the camera as myself, but still dealing with so much drama, like in the mix. So it just like took the fun out of it, so I definitely appreciate it.
Definitely.
But anyway, so the questions that I get are from you guys. Some of the stuff is from the Facebook groups, some from Twitter. So all these questions that I do ask during these interviews are not really my questions. Sometimes when you guys say things, I'm like, I got to ask my own question. I got to ask, you know what I mean? So this interview is not really like for me, it's for the fans. It's for the things that they want to know and that they've seen and that they might have heard, and, and that they have questions too. So that's why I brought you on today, because I felt like a lot of people had questions, and they did. So I wanted to bring you on today so you could answer those questions straight from your mouth, straight from the horse, so no one has to speculate, wonder anymore.
Right.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start from the very beginning. So you were on the chopping block like the very first day.
Yeah.
Day one at the mixer, or no, at the mansion party. And so the very next day at the mixer, it was kind of like you were going around to the guys, and you were like, so like, who put me on the bottom? So did you put me on the bottom? So it was kind of like you were going around to all the guys and you were discussing it. And it's like, you never know how it's going to be edited. You never know how it's going to look. But during that time, the guys were like, dang, like, why is she going around asking everybody? My first question to you is did production ask you to go around and do that, or did you take it upon yourself to do that?
I will say I did not take it upon myself to do that. That is something I don't naturally do. And even when it did happen, like, I mean, I understand why it was advised or suggested for me to do. Because it's kind of like, oh, you don't want to waste your time. Like, let me know, and this is a big, fast process. But at the same time, that's something I don't naturally do in my regular life. Like, if a man's not interested, I'm gonna ask you why. Why are you not interested?
Right.
Like, I'm good. On to the next. But I think in that whole brunch, that whole scene, I might have mentioned it to two groups, right? And that was with Tony and Blue, and then Demario and Blake, I think, was in that group with Johnny. But for real, like that was a long scene, and that was basically the only time that I really mentioned it. And I was enjoying the conversations that I was having, but they never really showed that. Like I learned a lot about the guys during that scene, but that wasn't ever shown. That's what they wanted to show. So when the editing came around, it seemed very like structured in that storyline, and that's the character that they wanted me to be. And if at the end of the day, you sign over your life, kind of, and I can't put any blame on anyone. I could have taken what was said or what was asked of me and just did my own thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm learning from that, to be your authentic self no matter what. And if it's something you don't normally do, then don't do it. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
It's but like I'm always saying, like hindsight is 2020. You look back at it and it's just like, oh Lord, like I cringed watching that. You know what I mean?
I was gonna ask you how you felt watching it back. Were you
the way they played that back
so
to back, like, and I wonder, like, if I didn't do that, would they have showed me at all in that scene? Would they have showed my good conversations that I had with Lyndon, with Tony, Blue, with Mark Anthony, with Fabrice? There was a lot of things that was said during that time, but instead I was depicted as someone who was closed off or, socially awkward or very random.
Right, because that's what it looked like to us.
Very random. And I mean, that's what I would see if I was just like a person watching, like very random and just like everywhere. Like, but if you also understand editing, you can also know, like, some stuff is chopped up. Like my sentences are literally chopped up. So you only see a little bit, and you understand that.
I completely get it. I talk about it all the time. I had a whole connection, honey, and nobody even understood how I had the connection because they never showed any of the footage of the connections that I had with them. So it's like, I completely understand. But I think when production usually, when they do stuff like that, especially because your time was so short, I think in their heads, they're like, well, she's not even going to be here that long. So let's just go ahead and play the parts to make, since she's going to be eliminated, we have to show why she got eliminated. And if you had all these meaningful conversations, it wouldn't have made sense to why she got eliminated on the second episode. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's just an unfortunate situation. But had you made it to episode 9, they would have showed all those meaningful conversations. And I think that's why they film as much as they do, even though they don't use 80% of the footage. I think for their narrative and when they're putting a storyline together, it needs to make sense for the audience. But like you said, we sign our lives away, and pretty much when we sign on that line, we're saying, oh, you can do anything you want with the footage.
Yeah, it's to their discretion. At the end of the day, everything is to their discretion. And a lot of times the thing is, it's not even so much the show in itself, it's like the aftermath and the people that actually watch the show and really take to heart everything that's going on, and that's the part that can, make you want to react. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Whereas there's only a few people that actually know how the industry works and how, you only got 45 minutes to really an hour show, because then you have commercials and this and that. So it's like only a few people really can understand that and say, just have fun with it. I have people that work in the industry and they're just telling me just to lighten up. Don't take yourself too seriously when these people come at you. Absolutely. And just have fun with it. So I'm trying to, I'm in a mix between of, Michelle Obama, when they go low, you go high, and money bags. I got time today. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to find a balance in between. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God, that's me. I get it. I get it. You're so right. Because sometimes I'll be in the chat like, I don't got time today. I want to have time. But yeah, it's so right. And it's like, and the thing is, and that was one thing that I had to learn on my season, is that I can't attack everybody. Like it's thousands and hundreds or whatever of people that are Sabrina, you know, Z, so it's like you really just gonna sit and be responding to everybody, you know what I mean? So it's like I had to learn how to drown out like the haters, the naysayers, the people in the bleachers, the people that's, you know, irrelevant. Like, you know, I'm just gonna focus on the good, communicate and respond to the people that are positive, that are for me, you know, and that's all that I try to do. But sometimes I be having time.
Right.
Some days I be like, I got
time. It recently happened to me because it was also like I got the alert in the morning and like you kind of woke me up from a lovely dream. You know what I'm saying? So I was just like, don't come. That's one thing with me. Don't come between my sleep.
Okay.
So,
well, that's a good one because I be like, don't come for me unless I send for you, honey.
Exactly. And that part too.
Exactly. But I'm glad that you're able to say like you had these amazing conversations with these guys because I would have never known unless you just told me.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because now that brings me to the date that you had with Blake. So you see how your story was told? Like you and Blake were sitting there like, doo, 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 doo. You know what I mean? So it was like you went to the mixer, you did that, and then you sat with Blake, and both of y'all at the end of the day were like, yeah, I'm good. But who asked for that date with Blake? Did you ask for it or did he ask for it? Or did
I didn't ask for it. And to be honest, I don't even think he asked for it. I said a lot of people's names and he was not one of them. So
when they do that.
So I was just like, I was kind of surprised when I saw him go into the little cafe first when I was in the car waiting, and I was just like,
oh, you
I was like, I'm like, why they got him going in first? What are they buttering him up for? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh boy. So yeah, like it, first of all, it's already hot that day too, you know. So it's like when you come into a place, you want to chill out, you want to like get acclimated to where you're at, order your drink, order your food. Like right when I come in, he's like, "You nervous? You nervous? Are you nervous?" And I'm like, "Yo, like, do you want me to be nervous? Like, because I kind of feel like you trying to get me nervous." I'm like,
right.
And then I think in the episode you see me, you hear me say like, "It's hot." Oh, yeah, it's hot. Like,
right. And then they show him with his facial expression, like,
oh, the facial expression. And I can see it already. I'm like, what are you doing right now? Like, what is this? This is weird. And because at the actual like the prior to like with the whole brunch or whatever, that whole mixer that we did, he was cool. Like I was actually having an interesting conversation with him in terms of like children and how like, you know, yes, I would love the option to have a child, but like I'm not in a rush for it type of thing. And because I was just talking about all the risks that women, especially Black women, have to take when it comes to being pregnant, being in the house. We were having a conversation like that, and I actually wanted to. It got interrupted, and I wanted to continue it.
Yeah.
At this, I said, I mean, that was my first thought when I saw that I was on a date with him. Like, okay, we can continue where we left off. And when I tried to ask him about the whole thing, the first thing he says to me is, you know, I'm trying to learn about you, not if I can put a baby in you. So it's kind of like, I was like, okay, like my stomach kind of jumped because it was very sharp with the way he said it too. And at that point I was uncomfortable. They never showed that part. And I actually, right after, like I kind of threw in a towel and I said, okay, well, what do you want to talk about? I literally just asked him, what do you want to talk about? And so, yeah, so he started, you know, asking questions like interrogation. And a lot of the questions came straight from the Ready to Love application. Like, what's your most embarrassing moment? Tell me about your family. But it was like, it was no active listening going on. You know, it wasn't as if he had any questions of his own to ask or even anything to really contribute about himself. I'm telling you about myself. So what about you? You know? And even when I tried to mention family, talk about family, he was saying, well, you told me about your family, you told me about this, and you told me about, like, you told me about your mom, you told me about your dad, you told me about your sister. What about you? And I'm like, okay, like my family's a part of me, you know, that is who I am who I am because of them, partially, you know. But
Right.
we also talked about, you know, my hobbies, what I like to do, and I mentioned a bunch of things, but the only thing that was show was hula hooping.
And laughing. And that was
And
one
I
of the
think
things I was
laughing is orgasmic, which I do.
right.
Yeah, I think laughing is orgasmic. You know, when a man can make me laugh, it's a huge turn on. So, and he didn't make me laugh one bit. I was making myself laugh out of the frustration. All I could do was laugh so I can avoid freaking yelling or crying or walking away. Like all I could do is and go back and forth. See, so the people that know me and saw that scene, like people that have known me since high school, right?
Uh-huh.
They said, "Yeah, I know that rock, that back and forth rock you were doing, right?" And he was like, they were like, "I know you was rubbing them thighs," because that's how I try to stay comfortable. That's how I try to stay calm. That's exactly what was happening. But I mean, it was a mess. It was
Yeah.
just a mess. A
So
mess.
let me ask you this, Z. So, okay, because I try really not to go off of this because this is for the fan interview, but sometimes I do go off script. So my thing is okay, because you obviously watched the show back. So you seeing Blake say, and it came to terms towards, you know, as we went on with the show that he wasn't trying to have kids. So when he said that he was trying to put a baby in you, how did that make you feel when you was like, wait a minute, this dude don't even want kids?
Well, he basically said, he tried to cut the conversation off by trying to say he wanted to cut the topic off and take control of the conversation by saying, "I want to get to know you, not if I can put a baby in you." So he didn't really say he wanted kids. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I was confused. Okay, I'm glad
Not if I could put it. And I never suggested putting a baby in me, man. Like it was very vulgar, like because it made me, because I'm very vivid with my imagination, and I literally had that in my head when he said it. I was like, ew, like like first of all, I just want to know if you can take care of the kids you already got. That's all.
Right. I get it. I was so confused. But that was just weird for that comment to even, like, how did it even, like, what made him?
I literally was like, so let's talk about like the whole 87%, 50, like let's get into that more.
Right.
And he cut me off. He cut me off and went very military on me. Like it's just, I was just like, I would have loved to went to the bathroom and never come back.
Where'd she go?
Yeah, that's what I would have loved to do.
I've never done that before, but now that you say it, that's funny. If someone ever did that, I'm pretty sure women have done that.
Oh, yes, yes. A wise person, someone older, like, you know, has suggested that, you know. Yeah, that's so
actually, I've seen it on the movies, but you know what I mean. That's
they probably got it from a movie, yeah.
But, wow. Yeah, because when you were like, he was like, "Tell me about yourself." Excuse me. It was like he was trying to pull it out of you, and you were like, "Yeah, I like to hula hoop. I like to laugh." And that was all we got from you. I was like,
oh my God, the way that they chopped, they was like, okay, let's just use these parts. Like, let's just bring the funny. That's it. Let's bring the weird and funny. I love to, like, I'm like, la, la, la. I like to hula hoop. And, you know, I think laughing or orgasm.
They made you look like you had no depth, honey. None whatsoever. Right. And I was like, this can't be real.
All the conversations I had, like from talking to Corvea about both of us working at USA Today, you know, to journalism and all of that. That was not the character. Being a smart girl was not the character they wanted me to portray whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm in grad school right now, you know, so it's just for communications at that, you know, so it's just very, it felt some type of way to see us and say, okay, is this what you think of me? You know, this is how you want me to be perceived. You know what I mean? Or did you want to take me down a notch, or do you think I have a big ego? I know I've been misperceived that way, but you know, I grew up with glasses and freckles. You know what I mean? Like I've been through people bullying me. This whole situation was very, especially with the post production of it, was very reminiscent of that feeling of high school. It's like you never leave it, you know? So a lot of people, even in the chat, you know, in the Twitter, they come at me like, oh, you think just because you're good looking, like you deserve this and that, you know? But it's like, yo, I've worked so hard to be more than that, you know? And especially like the things I've been through in life, I'm grateful that I don't look like what I've been through, you know what I mean? Because I'm still able to cope with things, you know? So it's just I've been trying to it's just somehow, I'm not trying to, but I've been all my life is I've always had to prove the cover of my book all the you know all my life. So it is what it is.
God, I loved it. I feel your story because
Yeah.
I get it. Wow. Okay. So even though you were on there for only 2 episodes, that equates to about almost like a week and a half. So with that time, did you feel like you had any strong connections with anyone on the show? Like you were like, you know, I'm feeling this guy. So let's even go back. So when you went to the mansion party and you first entered, did you feel like you were like, that's him, that's my man, that's my type? Yeah. So did you have any of those moments when you first entered? And did you have any connections with them afterwards?
I did not have any like whoa, like that Zazu feeling, you know, in my stomach, like I want to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? I did not have any of that initially. Just based off of the physical. But I'm always like, I've never been a person that's like, you know, overlook so much. It's really what comes out your mouth and what you say. So I was open to trying to get to know everyone really. And I was given that advice too, to just try to get to know everyone. And making the best out of it, you know. It wasn't really until the second episode where I was like, when I saw Mark Anthony, I was like, ooh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but you know, I didn't really have much time to actually get to know him on the show.
So after you got eliminated, did you continue talking to any of the men on the show?
I didn't. The only one who contacted me was like Blue when he left, or maybe a little bit before he left. I'm not sure about the timeline. But he checked in, and like, you know, we were friends, like really platonic, like had a friendship type of thing, you know. I'm thinking, oh, you know, this is a cool person. So that's really the only person the only man that I had contact with after the show. And then like I stay in touch with some of the girls, you know.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
It was really more so once people started leaving, like you'll get in contact with them, you know what I mean? So but nothing panned out like romantically with anyone from my cast, really.
And after watching the show back, did you feel like, wow, I wish I would have spent more time, or I wish now, or not even that I wish, like I'm gonna slide in his DM pretty much, like after watching the show back? Did you have any like
see, like I didn't watch all the episodes, but from what I saw, because it was like a self-care thing I had to do too for myself. But I you know, I actually like me and Mark Anthony have people in common from Jersey. So I reached out to him, you know, like, oh, you know, kind of like, oh, we know the same people, but that's still like friendship wise too, you know. Everyone's just really supportive. So it wasn't, I didn't have an urge to be in like, oh, I'm about to be in your DM, and I you know, I let people do their thing, kind of, you know. And if things are meant to be, they're gonna be meant to be no matter what, you know.
So watching the show back, the episodes that you did see, like how did it make you feel? Like watching like your castmates back, like what? Like they dating? Like what? Like hold on. Like how did you feel watching it back?
Well, you know, seeing Morgan and Lyndon's connection was surprising for me. And I was surprised with Jeffrey and Andre too. I must say I was surprised with them. Because like before I left, it was something totally different, you know. Who else surprised me? That's really it though. Mercedes and Mark Anthony didn't really surprise me because like Mercedes is Aries, I'm an Aries, like they, you know, you have that fire sign in Mark Anthony's Aquarian, so he has that air sign that kind of ignites that fire. So that connection didn't really surprise me. I didn't know, like once I left, I didn't know like Cynthia that well. So until late, like I connected with her after the show and stuff. But and then with Anthony, we didn't really talk that much during our time.
Because y'all had just met at that.
Yeah, we didn't really talk that much. Yeah, so I was kind of indifferent with their relationship. But yeah, that's pretty like, you know, that's pretty much it for. And then, you know, I was actually everything happens for a reason because things started happening really fast. I feel like, you know, with some of the games where people were kissing and this and that, like, you know, eventually I probably would have been sent home because it's like, if I see you kissing somebody, I'm not going to be really enticed to kiss you too. You know what I'm saying? And I have a weird, like, almost phobia about like getting any boo-boos or nothing on my lips. So I can't be doing that. Like I'll be getting all paranoid and stuff. So
Z, I say that all the time. And people, even some of my panelists, because you know I review the show, and some of my panelists be like, "It's just a kiss." I be like, and that's just too much. So my views is how you feel, and some people be coming for me. Even like my chat, when they be in the chat, they be like, "Sabrina, it's just a kiss. It's not like y'all." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you can catch crabs and not have intimacy." You know what I'm saying? Might jump off the toilet seat. I mean, I hate to be so descriptive, but I'm like so funny about stuff like that. And you're right. Like if I see you over here smooching this person, like I understand it's a game, but my mental and the way that I'm wired, and I'm not saying like, and don't nobody got to agree with me. That's just how I feel. And if you feel different, then that's on you. That's absolutely fine. But I'm the same way. Like I don't want to. Because now you done kissed her, Who did you kiss before the show? And now you trying to kiss. I be like, I need your test results. I need to see the results before. I'm just real funny.
Yeah, it can be. It can be a lie, you know. And it's I mean, the mouth is very intimate. You got to think. Listen, we all see Pretty Woman. Okay, Julia Roberts. What was her rule? Being a prostitute and everything. What was her rule?
They don't kiss in the mouth.
Yep. No kissing in the mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
yeah. Unless I could put like one of them, what is it, a face condom? Unless I
those dental
right. Like if you gonna strap it up down there, like why can't we strap it up here? Like it ain't no.
I know it's not the same because I mean I love kissing. You know,
Me too. When I find someone to kiss.
Yeah. I just don't need to kiss everybody.
So let me, you know, and sometimes I go off topic, but we having such a great conversation, girl. And you know, it's just us girls, we talking.
Yeah.
So why today I saw, right? It was on Instagram and I was scrolling. Did you see that story about how a lot of the throat cancers are now related? A lot of the throat cancers are related from oral sex.
I did. Well, I mean, I didn't see that recently, but I've heard about that a while back because
I saw it today.
Yeah, it was Michael Douglas made a joke about back in the, like a couple of years back when he was suffering from throat cancer, I think. And he made a joke about like, oh yeah, I was basically I did cunnilingus back in my day. Like he made a joke about it. I was like, wait, like, are you serious? Because yeah, it can't. I mean, I that's why I feel like, you know, everyone, even men, need to be really selective on, you know, where they put their, you know, we all gotta be careful and get to know people, you know. So
right, yeah, like we got to worry about, you know, all these different diseases and the little the vid, you know, we got to worry about that. Like it's a lot we got to worry about, you know. And I just feel like I just want to be safe. Like if I was walking around with a mask just 2 years ago, like that's no, I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like, what's the new strand going? I don't want to be practicing something and doing something with my mouth or kissing or whatever. And then they're like, new strand, it comes from kissing and da 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 da. 93 people have passed away. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
It's
oh, I was just on a TV show kissing 25 people.
it's just so much, right?
I'm sorry. I
Right. You know,
but
it's I like the fact that you bring that up, because that's the reality. Not everything is Hollywood. You know, you have this love scene and you never see a condom. You know, it's a lot of, you know, it's just a lot of, we're getting a lot of it coming to us in media, you know, but we're not getting like the realistic side of it sometimes. So
yes.
I can appreciate content that actually shows that realistic side of sex, how safe sex could be sexy too. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I can even appreciate Drake saying I'm too sexy to go unprotected. Yes, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Some people are trying to spread that movement, you know, and I can appreciate that.
And I think that's what's wrong with, you know, our society today, is because it's the ignorance behind it, because we're not being educated on so many things, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I mean, that's a whole, I'm glad that we can have healthy conversations like this, because it's a reason why we're discussing it right now. I appreciate the conversation, but yeah. So I appreciate your view on that about, let's kind of rewind it back. How you were saying like, yeah, I'm not going to really be feeling you if I just saw you kissing this person on a game. So you said everything happens for a reason. And that's why you
for a reason
were eliminated when you were eliminated.
I don't think I would have made it to the very end anyway. To be honest.
Let me tell you something. Episode 6, kissing game. They would have been like, Sabrina, you have to. I would have been like, eliminate me now. Just, can I go home? I mean, I can't even.
Yeah, you know, like
that.
I mean, how can you get out of that except for like a kiss on the cheek or, you know, something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Probably would have did something like that. I definitely would have kissed on the cheek. Yeah. And you know, and a lot of people don't know, your mouth is the dirtiest thing on your body.
That's what I was gonna say to you too. Yeah.
It's your mouth.
Body.
A lot of people don't realize, as much as we touch our dirty phones and glasses and remote controls and
mouths,
laptops and
fingers in the mouth, and you know,
all that. Your mouth is the dirtiest part in your body. Like, Google it, y'all. Like, for real. Wow. Okay, Lord have mercy, child. Let's move forward. Okay. So I want to talk about the good stuff now.
Okay.
At the reunion, Blue had mentioned that he was dating someone, and it seemed like everyone was shocked behind the scenes, et cetera, et cetera. When Kayla came out, what was your first thought? What was your first impression? What was your first emotion?
It was more so surprised and basically shocked a bit. Because just specifically, not even, it could have been anyone who came out, to be honest. It was more so because of the conversations I had with Blue prior, very, very close to the reunion, and then some weeks beforehand, like looking at, this was during a time when production was calling us, just following up before the reunion, trying to see how we're doing, how our lives are, and seeing if we made any connections from our castmates. And I already said like, no. Right. And but I already mentioned that, like, I still talk to Natasha, I still talk to Blue. Like, I was mentioning people I'm still connected with, but nothing romantic. That same day I talked to Blue, and that's when, like, he did suggest the whole, let's act like we're in a relationship for the reunion. This is basically, he was, because I was saying, I can't wait till this is over. Like, he basically said, this is only the beginning. Like, there's stuff going on after, and almost hinting towards spin-offs and stuff like that. Like, and this whole relationship thing would have been like strategic for him, you know. And I did tell him I was not in the mental capacity to do that at the moment. And that was more me just saying no. Because my whole thing is, listen, you ain't picked me on the show. How does this benefit me and my storyline? I'd much rather stand on my own, alone, and do my thing. If anyone, if anything happens, or if I'm perceived in any kind of way, it's because of me, and that's it. And that's how I looked at it. And I did say so. I did joke around and say so. You ain't gonna be part of my storyline or something like that. But so then, like the week of when we were filming the reunion, like a day or so beforehand, he hits me up mentioning the same thing, like almost like kind of last minute type of thing. And you know, in our first initial conversation, I did ask, like, did you ask anyone else this? And he told me no, because he thought we vibe, we were cool, which is true. Like, we vibe very well, both fire signs, you know, we cool, you know. Right. But I would have been more inclined, like, if he naturally asked me, like, hey, we should go on a date or whatever. If he naturally just asked me that way, I would have, you know, said, like, let's hang out. But instead, it was this whole like strategy thing, and I'm like, yo, we're friends, you know. But right. I guess that's why he asked me too. I don't know. I don't know what the motive was really behind that. All I can do is assume in terms of that. But it was the whole thing of like when that did happen on stage, when Tommy made that announcement about him finding love, like I thought like they were going to announce my name or something, because we didn't speak anything. We didn't say anything else about it after that. So I'm like, oh shoot, like I didn't agree to this. You know, I'm like, oh, huh? I was like, but we're not sitting together, so that can't be it, you know? Right. And so it was more like, man, you supposed to be my boy. Like, you ain't give me any type of consideration or regard to say, like, hey, by the way, this is what's happening, just so you don't get surprised, and so you can keep your mouth shut. And I probably would have kept my mouth shut. I'm pretty sure I would have kept my mouth shut if he just gave me that type of consideration. But it just showed me, like, you don't really see me as a friend like that. You know what I mean? So, like, if you do that to your friends, like, who's to say you wouldn't do that in a relationship? Like, I can't really trust you. So that really showed me another side to him. And, you know, we were, when they had us go backstage, we talked a little bit about it. And I was still trying to not say everything, because at that moment I was still considering him as a friend. And I don't want him to look like, basically, I didn't want him to look lame for doing that. Right. You know what I mean? And then at the other time, I was also considering the woman, Kayla's feelings. Right. Because I don't know her. Like, what if she what if she does have actual feelings for him? You know, I didn't know her motives. So I was just like, that's why I kind of said I don't want to damper anyone's situation. So at that point, I was like, let me keep it to myself. You know, before I said anything, Marcia was trying to tell me, like, because I said to her on the couch, you know, like, he just asked me, like, to pick a relationship for this, you know, and that's what she's like, say something, you know. Right. And at first I was like, forget it. But then, like, as a story, like, the story was developing within, and it was just like, huh? And I was like, this is crazy. So, yeah, you know, a lot of people have felt some type of way, like since that aired, you know, I ended up going on social media, and I'm seeing people like, what is it? Or, you know, you just hate and this and that. So I said, like, listen, this man asked me to fake a relationship. That was the whole thing. It wasn't a thing of hate. It had nothing to do with woman against woman. That's something that I'm not about. I'm not going to be on stage arguing with another woman, especially not over a man that, you know, I didn't even really pursue, you know. Right. So it was just weird. Like, even like backstage, you only saw a part of that conversation, but when we were in the hallway, I was saying to him, like, you and me, we're the homie. Like, you the homie. Like, you know, like, stop, don't try to make this some love triangle that it never was. You know, because I wasn't even in town that much for it to be a love triangle. Okay. So let's not, you know. So, but he kept going with this whole scenario, like, oh, if I bring her around, you're gonna be nice to her, right? Like, I'm like, what? Why would I be mean to her? You know?
Right.
So, but people are gonna still, even if I say this and what's going on, and people are still going to have their judgments and think whatever they want to think. Because just the other day I had someone search for my Instagram to come on my page underneath a positive post to tell me how I'm butthurt over the situation that happened weeks ago. So it was just like, yo, like, just stop. Like, get your own life with that, And I'm not here for really any type of like bullying on social media or anything like that, just because I'm speaking my truth.
Right.
I've never did anything to no anger has been directed towards another woman in this situation. You know what I mean? Everything has been directed towards Blue, and that's it. And that's pretty much the end of it, really. So it is what it is. It's an unfortunate situation, and I don't wish anything, in terms of his legal situations going on. I hope he gets out of it, because he does have other people depending on him. And I hope he is able to stand on his feet eventually.
Yeah. Do you wish you didn't put out there? Because I actually saw some of the posts. I even did a video on it, where you were like, yeah, he asked me to fake a relationship. Because had you not said anything, the viewers would have never known, because we just saw at the reunion, it was like, why is he acting like that? So people were starting to comment about it. So what made you feel like, you know what, I'm going to just let him know why I was feeling like that, because it wasn't said on camera. What made you feel like at that point, I want to say something?
It was mostly because I'm seeing all these comments like, well, what is it? What are you doing? And they're trying to assume why I had this reaction, why like I'm a hater. Obviously I shouldn't have, I could have just not even cared so much about what the masses thought. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I need to tell my story. You're not going to assume what I was thinking. This is what happened, and this is why I reacted that way. So that's why that happened. Honestly, I was hoping that they wouldn't even show that part. To be honest,
it was messy. They were going to show it. It was messy.
Yeah, I was hoping that wasn't even shown, or because I don't even know if anything has gone on between the two of them as a couple since the reunion, so I was assuming that they might not even have shown that part, you know what I mean? So but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, just it is what it is with that, but that is why I felt like I needed to just basically speak out, since I didn't really have a chance, or I didn't give myself a chance to speak out at the reunion.
So I don't know if you know, but Kayla and Blue were like in a whole relationship. Like they were really, I'm not going to say relationship. Let me take that back. But they were in a situationship / relationship / dating each other.
Okay.
So I don't know if you knew that, but did you eventually come to have known that? Because to me, it was just kind of awkward where if he was kind of seeing her, I don't know if they had, because I know they had mentioned on the show, like they were dealing with each other for 3 months, but they had been dating for a month. Now, I know with me, sometimes I could be dealing with somebody for 6 months and then we like, let's actually really try to do this relationship thing. And that's the beginning of the day of our relationship. You know what I'm saying? So even though he and I, we've been like, it's funny to say it, but we've been boyfriend and girlfriend for a month. We've been kind of dating for 5 months. So I feel like maybe that's why they said that, but they had been seeing each other. She had put posts up, so people were like, it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. But in real life, like she had post things to like in her stories and stuff like that, where they were like kissing and like they were intimate, like they were in a relationship. So my thing is for you, and I'm sure you saw some of that floating around social media as well. So if he was so-called, I guess, in a situation with her, do you know why he felt the need to ask you to fake a relationship when
That's
he
what I don't.
had a whole relationship going on with her?
Yeah, if that was the case, I really don't understand that. And I don't really follow what she's doing on social media, so I would never really see that. I've never looked at like her stories or anything. I've more so might have seen things that Blue has posted, and the first time I really saw him post anything with them was like after the reunion. So like I, and we've talked, after this so-called timeline that they were dating, you would think that would be mentioned instead of him asking me what he asked me. And even on social media, he said to me, that he was joking when he asked me. So I was just like, so you called me multiple times to tell me the same joke? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
So he verbally said that to you?
On it's in writing on his page. So now he's saying that he claims it was a joke, even though I was like, okay, so I guess you said the same joke more than once to me. Got it.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I'm just like, listen, like, okay. But like the thing is, if they did have something, that's great. Like,
right.
That's
just
fine, but it's just weird. Like that, then that should have been your whole mission the whole time. Like why? Well, that's why I say, like, what was the reason for that? Did you want to come off as if you, even though you got voted off, you're still wanted?
Right. Because I was gonna ask you, did he mention why he might have wanted? Like, yo, Z, this was like, I want you to da because XYZ. Like, did he talk to y'all? Like, did y'all discuss? Like, did you ask him, like, why you want me to, like, did any of that come out?
I mean, I'm not going to say, because the conversation was a bit ago, so I'm not going to say that he deliberately said, hey, we should do this but he was saying, like, listen, this is only the beginning, and, referencing other things, like if there could be a spinoff or other episode or another series in relation to that. Like, I don't know.
So he did mention that. So
there's some type of influence. There was something like that he was getting to have that mindset.
So he wanted his own show, pretty much.
I don't know if he wanted his own show, but he wanted another. It's like he wanted another opportunity to be seen again.
Right. I get it.
To stay relevant in this whole process.
Right. I didn't mean his own show, but
I don't know. Like, it could be. I don't know. But he definitely wanted to stay relevant in this whole process of like wherever Ray Love may go with their whole universe.
I get it. So he wanted to add an extra 5 minutes to his 15.
I mean, that's how I feel. I mean,
right.
What other reason?
Right.
That's all. That's how I feel about it. And everyone has their ways of their strategies of ways of going about things. Instead of just letting it naturally flow. But
So I do want to do this. Give me a second while I prepare it. This is for you. So
oh God.
So they asked you, what did they ask you in this clip? Do you remember?
They said, what do you want to what's the last thing you want to say, or any last words or something like that?
Well, my name is Z, and I'm from Jersey, and all I want to know is what's next.
So, Z, we would like to know what's next.
Woo! Ciao. Lord have mercy. Yeah. So, I mean, by the way, guys, like people thought I was like, why is she doing this? And honestly, because they were like, any last words? And I was just like, why not?
You
And
have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I knew I was like, I'm not going to go home crying. You know, it's too short to go home crying. So, hey, I'm going to go home doing something that I love to do, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to definitely do more of that. I'm definitely very, my hobbies, my passions are the performing arts. I do love creating content. It is what I do for a living. And just, you know, finding people that have the same passions as me and being able to collaborate and create beautiful things together for the most part. So that's what I've been focusing on, especially with grad school and communications. Eventually I do want to have some, you know, be a communication specialist in different avenues. And I do have a entrepreneurial mindset when it comes to that, because there's a lot of skills that I've gained from doing hard journalism to transitioning to a more creative side of television, and even building engagement for these places that I've worked using search engine optimization. I'm really into that. So I'm a little nerdy with some stuff. But then I also have my, you know, free loving side that loves to sing, loves to dance. I just love the performing arts. I love watching really good TV and studying scripts. And, you know, my long-term goal is to have a screenplay, but maybe that can be shorter, more of a short-term goal. So there's a lot of things. There's so much things I love to do. And I'm in every, you know, whatever opportunity comes in whatever arena I'm in, I'm going to say yes to it, you know, because life is too short.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. Where can the people find you on social media?
Well, you can definitely find me. Just Google at ZEE_peaks. You'll find a lot of like my YouTube content, my Instagram content, and you might find me on Facebook. I'm not sure, but just Google that and you'll see where it takes you. And if you do have any interest in terms of communication or in terms of creating content, writing, search engine optimization, let me know. Shoot me a message.
Definitely hit her up, guys, if you are interested in any of the things that she just said. Thank you so much. You have such a beautiful spirit about you. I love talking to you. Thank you so much.
You too. It was a pleasure. So much fun.
Thank you. All right, guys, that's it for the interview. If you have not hit that thumbs up, make sure you hit the thumbs up. If you are not subscribed, I would love for you to join my Seoul Mate community. Definitely subscribe. Click that black notification bell so every time I go live or upload, you will be the first to know. I didn't say it yesterday. I said I was going to be back Tuesday. I was back tonight. So I will see you guys on Tuesday at 8 p.m. with the interview with Cynthia. All right. Have a great weekend and be